Okay. All right. Today, I'm glad to host Odoch Quinto, the author of The War-Torn Child.
Byayesu Aggripa.
Odoch Quinto, no, okay. Or Aggripa Byayesu. My apologies there. Aggripa Byayesu, a writer, a published author, a founder of Ray of Hope. He will tell us about that. Political analyst, legal advisor, a motivational speaker, and I should also mention here on that basis of a political analyst that Mr. Aggripa was a former presidential aspirant in the recently concluded elections at Makerere University, and this makes him a strong member of the Uganda Young Democrats. Yes. Then he is the author of a book that we are going to be discussing today, At the Crossroads. It is a collection of poems published in Kampala, Uganda by Iconic Publishers. That is a brief background of Aggripa Musinguzi. I'm glad to host him this evening. So for part one, we are going to delve into the personality of the author today. So, Mr. Aggripa, my first question to you would be that how can you describe yourself to a person who doesn't know you? Your microphone is muted. Yes. Okay.
Well, thank you so much. Am I loud and clear?
Yes, you're loud and clear, sir.
Yes, Byayesu Aggripa is a Makererian, is a Ugandan,
yes,
a human rights activist,
yes,
but above all, is a humble man from a small background of a hustler, a young man who has grown up from the slums of Chisenyi in Mengo, with a big heart to extend and push and innovate things that will inspire young children out there in ghettos, the youth, and those who think their life is disadvantaged and push the wall that they can't have a solution. That's why each and every step that I take in my life is basically to inspire and give a lesson to the youth and the young people who seem and find life a bit complex and think life is always a privilege to those who think have gotten their life and born with silver spoon in their mouth. And personally, I sacrificed my life. I gave it out to be a way of how I can speak and inspire young people out there in the slums and the ghettos and anywhere, especially where life seems really to be pushed and disadvantaged in one way or the other. Yes.
So having said that you're a person who grew up from the ghetto, tell us more about your life story and how it is connected with what you do currently.
Thank you so much. I am born and raised in Mengo, Chisenyi. This is where I've been for almost all my entire life, and apparently I stay in Wakiso. It is where my mother and father actually were able to buy and to purchase and construct a small house where I stay with my 7 group. Actually, we are 7 people at home. Yes, last year I was able to publish a book with a compilation of this whole kind of story, but in poetry form. I am a teacher training of English and literature. So this gives me an opportunity to express myself in a word form. I went to Hosanna Primary School, a school which is actually no more. Apparently, it was demolished It was a missionary school.
Which one is
was
that?
funded by the missionaries.
Mm.
It was on a primary school. It's in Mengo Chisenyi. And apparently, it is demolished, no more school, but there is a church and the old structures of the former school that was demolished.
Okay. Why was it demolished?
So from
if
there,
at all you
I
knew?
went.
Why was it demolished?
Oh, it was. The problems were ranging from the fact that the funders were no more able to push and have the students funded.
Oh.
The school fees and that kind of, facilitation.
Okay. So from there,
Yes.
where did you go for high school?
Now, for high school, because I was the best performer in my class, actually, because we were two schools that had exams in a one center, because my school didn't have a center number. So we had exams in another school, Igolets. Igolets, that is also located along Rubiri Mengo Road.
Yes.
In the same locality, Chisenyi Mengo.
Okay.
And I was the best performer with 8 aggregates.
Oh my God, congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much. Now, that alone shows you how really performing in slums is a bit complicated, because it needs a lot of funding and a lot of commitment, but it's really not good, because I was the best in my school, but some were not even the best with 5s and 6 in their other schools in primary, in PLE.
Yes, you see.
So
yes,
I was given a scholarship to where I went for my seniors, from my secondary school. Yes, I was at St. Peter's in Zambia. It's where I taken my choice, and I didn't get the opportunity. But from there, I worked with the HM there, and I was pushed to St. Elizabeth SS in Kowe.
Okay. Oh.
Yes, that's why I was. But I had challenges here and there with the finances. Then I was around senior 2, I was pushed to go back to Apostolic Secondary School, which is also apparently demolished because it also failed to have funds to run its projects. So it also failed to push on.
Okay.
Yes. But I finished my O-level at St. Elizabeth, because after this side, I was the other side called back to go and finish up with my O-level, because they expected a first grade from me, and I was really able to have a 31 at senior 4.
Oh, that is a good performance, really.
Yes. Yeah, it was a good performance, basically, because I was up and down in different schools, struggling with the finances and the funding.
That means you're a very focused child, then, the reason being having been with such a kind of lifestyle, and then being able to beat all these students, but getting aggregate 8 at PLE, then aggregate 31 at say UCE, then that means that you were indeed focused despite the background. So how did you manage to do that? What pushed you?
Thank you so much. I was working at school. I was the one responsible for making liquid soap, and that was the only way I could really and put money on part of my tuition, actually my school fees, and some other funds would actually be put aside towards helping my family at home.
Oh, okay.
And then I used to timetable everything, so I used to read at night, but today I was pushed to the wall of working and studying. So I didn't have that time of like any other student to be focused in class. But the focus was actually my own time. At night, I used to work hard in my academics, because that was the only time I could have when I'm not working for the school, making liquid soap and cleaning some few places here and there, especially the administrative block where I was working, and cleaning the rooms of the director of the school.
Okay. Then after, how did you join Makerere from high school then to Makerere?
Thank you so much.
Mm.
And then from there,
Your microphone is muted, please. Your microphone is muted. Hello, hello. Your microphone is muted, sir. I can't hear you. Hello. Your microphone is
I
muted.
still can. Hello.
Yes. I was saying that how did you join Makere because
It's
you
on.
had muted there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear. Your microphone is muted again.
So I used to go to St. Peter's. Hello. Yes. I was saying. Hello.
Yes.
I used to go to St. Peter's in Zambia. I was a day scholar. So I used to get time to go to the streets of Kampala where I was selling shoes on the streets and vending around passion fruits.
Okay.
Yes, now this was how I used to get money to pay off my senior 5 and senior 6. Because at St. Peter's Zambia, I didn't have a bus and I didn't have a scholarship. Now I had 13 aggregates at senior 6, no, points at senior 6. Yes, and then from there I had HLDIT literature because it was the passion I wanted really to speak the feelings and the desires and what could really inspire people from my own personal story. Because when you read my book, it's all my own personal story, my own poetry, the only story that can really tell the people that life is not as straight as you can, but you can shape the way you want it to be.
Yes.
I went to Makere University, still working and pushing because even up to now I still sell shoes. Yes, on the streets. And from there, I later on got scholarship around here and there from my close friends and my mother's friends who still pay the bit of my tuition. Yes.
Oh, okay. That from your narration, I've seen that you are indeed a true definition of a hustler, a hardworking person, and a person who works smart. That is good of you. So, as a person, what are your greatest fears?
Well, thank you so much. I would personally tell you that my greatest fear is to wake up one night and I feel I am demotivated. It is to wake up a night and I feel negative about each and everything that happens in my life. In the book by Chinua Achebe, Things Fall Apart, we see the story of a young man, Okonko, who rises from nothing, but because of the fear to be weakness, like his father Onoka,
Yes,
he's really a successful man. So I personally, at one moment, think if I ever feel weak and negative, I will go back to the slums where I feel my story will be shattered and nothing will be pushed. And people that would really matter and have their lives at one moment rise from the slums would not have the opportunity because I will have my life pushed to the wall and not inspiring them. So that's my greatest fear.
Okay. So I see you're a very desirous person, a very desirous young person. If God continues to bless you with the gift of life, and I pray He does, where do you see yourself in the near future?
Thank you so much. I am the founder of a charity foundation. Actually, it's an initiative because I've not been able to get money to register it. But it is working. It's called Ray of Hope Initiative.
Yes.
Now, under this, we inspire and we promote the people who were born and raised from the slums. We help them get tuition and some kind of facilitations here and there with the scholastic materials. If God gives me life, I'm thinking about making that charity foundation registered, and it will cut across the whole world actually, deep down into the slums and the projects. No matter where and which part of the country and which part of the continent each and every ghetto youth and each and every person who is disadvantaged at tournament will actually be inspired and maybe their life will be changed to the better. I am also a political analyst, like you said, because this very year, actually, I was awarded and I still work with the Uganda Young Democrats, which is under the umbrella of DP.
Yes.
Because last year I was able to run for guild president.
Yes.
And I was number 4 out of the 11 that we were in the same race with.
Wow, congratulations.
But
indeed.
I can sure I tell you that up to now, my life has really changed and to a great deal because I sit and speak with people who I feel if I keep with that kind of touch, I will still rob for people who are deep down in the slums. So I wish if God gives me life, I can even be the president of this country.
Indeed.
And basically to make sure that I can provide for people who are at disadvantage. Specifically, that is my dream. Yes.
Okay, so I thank you that you're a very passionate person who is looking forward to be motivated every now and then. So as we go into part 2 of this interview, and it is about the reading culture, do you agree that the reading culture in Africa is very low?
Absolutely, yes, because now I produced around 100 copies of my very book at the crossroads. But I sold the book to friends and those who are actually in ghettos, not because they want to read them, but because they are supporting me. So that shows you that we are extremely low at book coverage. We don't read, and this is actually not a problem in only Africa, but even some parts of Europe and maybe any other part of Asia, because reading takes more of a skill and it's the experience I think that we must train ourselves to have.
So
Yes.
As you have stated that indeed the reading culture is very low, what do you think can be done to improve the reading culture?
Thank you so much. If I am the president of this country, I feel like I should have more of books being given free of charge to the people. I would wish to invest more into supplying books at a free cost to the people, and maybe that can motivate them to read. And then make sure that if it's able, I can try to look for ways of how I can motivate writers and they write more books, but maybe helping them with the publishing fees. And putting more of the publishing companies that will actually be free to inspire the young people who want to write, so that these books can be printed out and given free of charge. And even the writers get some money, because yes, however much we need the money, but money is, for me personally, I think it comes next. What will actually drive more and inspire people is we can have these books free of charge printed, and it brings out the whole sense of reading and developing the culture, because some people are not able to buy books because they don't want to read them maybe, but because they're also kept in poverty somewhere because they can't afford money for food, and now how will they be able to afford the money to buy a book?
Indeed. Okay.
Yes.
So as we go into part 3, thank you for sharing your insights on why the reading culture is still lagging behind in Africa. You have said one of the reasons is that poverty. Some people are poor. The fact that they can't afford food, put food on the table. How can they manage to buy a book? And you have also said that if you're president, and I pray that your desire or your goal is achieved in one or the other, you would make books free of charge or at a low cost. So as we go into part 3 of this interview, let us talk about books. And my first question in this part would be, when was your book published?
Thank you so much. My book was published in the first pandemic, the lockdown that we have actually of COVID-19, and I was able, that was when the whole corporation was put in place, but on August 14th, I launched my book. So it was basically kind of, launched with the due course of the publication on August 14th.
Okay.
Of last year, 2020.
Okay, so
2021.
Is this for purposes of putting this on record? Is this your first book that you have written?
Yes. At the Crossroad is my very first copy of the book that I have published.
Okay. Oh, congratulations.
But it has over 200 poems. Yes.
Okay. Congratulations for having managed to publish your first book. Indeed, it is somehow challenging to publish a book. But if at all you manage to publish a book, then that is a kudos to you. So, what inspired the title of this book?
Thank you so much. Well, at the crossroad, just like you hear it, it is a phrase, like any other phrases that are brought in by different writers. At the crossroad is a phrase that shows someone's decision into making a journey into what they want to do in their life. Like you see, there is a poem by Robert Frost. It is called Two Roads. The poem is like two roads that diverged into the yellow wood. And sorry, being one traveler, I couldn't travel both. So personally, when I was in ghettos, I had all chances of indulging into other kind of stuff, drugs and that kind of stuff, because that's where this whole stuff arises from. But I was at the crossroads of, is this the best decision that I can have for my life? So at the crossroad is a decision that you take when you are at the verge of having two things that contradict, but they are all good, they all seem to be good, but you need one that is extremely best.
Okay, so when I look...
So now this brings out the whole essence of the poem by Robert Frost, The Lord Don't Taken.
Okay, when I look at this book, the cover page of it, I'm seeing a tree in form of a face, or in form of a human face. What inspired this illustration, and who helped you, or are you the one who brought up this idea, or it was the publisher? What inspired this illustration on the cover of the page?
Oh, thank you so much. Like I told you, at the crossroad is your imagination, and then when you are at the verge of making a decision in your life, it means you are thinking about something.
Yes.
And now this is the head and the portrait of a tree, but this tree is actually, this tree has no leaf. So if you turn at the back of that, the cover page, the back page of this very tree, you will see another tree that is leafy. So now this tree in particular is in too much thoughts on what decision it should make.
Oh, wow.
But apparently it has no leaves.
Oh wow! This is
so this. Yes, so this tree shows the kind of life that one is faced without even money and perceptions of how we can rob you, but it's too much of thoughts of I want to do something in life, but don't even have perceptions. So your leaf, you don't have any leaf on you. You're green, you seem to be really without any hope, but at the back of your mind, you have a message of another tree that can be shining at one moment in life. So now that is the whole illustration of that tree.
Okay. In one of the interviews that you had with the Mount Kenya Times, they asked you that they ask you about your best poem, and you told them that your best poem would be Now Watch Me Rise. What is the background of this poem specifically?
Thank you so much. This poem, Now Watch Me Rise, is a personal poem that I had when I was pushed to the wall, when some few students were laughing at me, and they thought, basically because of what I do to survive and what they think about my whole situation, to them, they can't really have it. So I have this poem as a form of consolation and telling myself, you people now watch me rise as I will move from what you think is a disadvantage and a wall of life that is a way of a laughing stock. So you will watch me rise to where I want to go. And when I get there, my story will inspire others, and you will have to watch me when I make all these steps.
Oh, wow, yes. That is a powerful story behind that poem. And I've seen from your interview, I've seen that you're a very creative man. So let us talk about publication. I see that this book was published by iconic publishers. If at all you don't mind, take us through the costs. How were you able to publish this book of over 200 pages?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I had tried a couple of publishing companies, but because personally, I don't want to publish my book because of maybe the name of a company that is already famous. When I met with Daniel Kabasa, who is the owner of that very publishing company, we had the features here and there. And his goal was also to inspire and bring about some kind of change in the society. So I thought about my book being published with him because he's still a young man with a lot of ambitions. And what he wants to do is to inspire, even bring about writing and publishing and helping the young authors. So I thought that could actually even give him the opportunity, because he's publishing a book of someone who is raising from the grass and opting maybe to, to break the glasses and the odds of this society. And even this very publishing company, to me personally, I could feel the expense because I even didn't have money to finish the whole publication. So I was paying half and half and half in installments to have my book published.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yes, Daniel helped me with the reread and proofreading and everything. And even I distributed my copies to those that there in first to write down copies. So it was all kind of a favor, surely. And I still even think, sure, I have to publish my book.
So it is good of him, you see, when I hear a person who is helping a writer to rise, that is an achievement for me. That is a kudos for that person. So say if at all you meet him, send my full gratitude to him and tell him that there is a man who said a big thank you for helping in one way or the other to improve the reading culture by helping writers. Okay, so my next question will be, how did you, what is the most challenging part in writing a book?
Well, I think the most challenging part is to have the innovation and to have the initiative, because the whole stuff begins with a one single step that you can never take in your life. Most writers cannot tell you that they have put a lot of money into their stuff, but basically breaking the stigma and the syndrome of not writing is the best and the biggest mistake that takes people down when they are in the writing process. Yes, and then to have the whole motivation of keeping writing each and every day, because it's not a one-day journey. Like they say, Rome was not built in one day, so is writing. Writing can actually take you because now mine took actually two to 3 years if I can tell you, but I used to write each and every day. I used to have motivation of my own self each and every night. So it really takes too much. Because now this whole thing of getting money and a publishing company can be easy when you have the content.
Okay. So what would be your advice to to young writers who are just starting up, who have not even published their first book?
Well, thank you so much. Young writers, if once you have the content and you know, don't feel like you can't do anything with your life, move a step, look for the publishing companies, talk to them. If they don't want to publish your stuff, move to another publishing company. Don't ever feel negative and demotivated, because you can actually take your poems or your kind of writings or prose to any kind of publishing company, and you start paying, even if it's 1,000 a day. That alone, make sure you have made a step. You have made sure that you can do it, and you will do it. Never lose hope. What you basically need to do is you support the other writers. If you have money, support other writers who have their writings, because I can personally tell you, I've so far bought almost over 30 pieces of books of other writers who even don't have the name. And I think if someone out there is thinking about supporting a writer and is a young writer.
Your microphone is muted. Okay, you had muted your.
Yes, they need.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Yes, they need to buy other. They need to buy other people's books, and they should never think about losing the hope of publishing. So if they buy other people's writings, they will be inspired.
You might
talk to them, and they have no.
Okay. Thank you. Back. Okay, so as we conclude today's interview, I saw that you are a political analyst and you analyze issues here and there. I beg to pick your understanding or your analysis on this situation of the arrest of Kakwenza, who is a writer. He was arrested for being a writer. What would you say to that? If at all you find yourself into that, you're being arrested for writing some stuff, what would be your take on that?
Well, thank you so much. You know, I am a law student. I have a diploma in law from LDC that I achieved this very year. I personally think, yes, there are some laws that Kakwenza did violate, but the kind of arrest was surely not in order, and it was surely an indication that yes, because it was the violation of his rights and freedom, because writers are supposed to express themselves through their own writings. And you also know very well that any kind of writing that one puts on ground ceases to be his own writing. That's why they call the death of the author. And any person in the book that is, again, a character ceases to be someone's reflection, but actually, if you think about it, then it becomes you. So I think it was surely wrong for his arrest, and that's why I particularly thought his arrest should actually be stopped, and that kind of arrest should actually also be stopped in the whole country for the writers, because writers need to be free like any other person and they express themselves.
Okay, thank you for that.
Writers still.
Okay.
So I still caution writers to surely put in mind that violation of another person's reputation is also one way or the other not to write. Okay. If you don't write it, but you say it straight out to their face, it's actually wrong by law. Yes.
Okay, thank you for your take on that. I believe it has helped in one way or the other. So as we conclude today's interview, what would be your last word for this evening?
Well, today's my last word would particularly go to those people who feel their life is pushed to the ground.
Yes.
Comrades, my brothers, my sisters, countrymen and kinsmen, personally, let your light never cease to light. Yes, my phone number is 075 183 3605. I can deliver the books to them. However much I'm in this kind of situation, I can deliver a book. My book is in Mokwano bookshop. Then it's also available online. You can have a soft copy of the book from Amazon.
Okay. Thank you for your wisdom, and thank you for honoring our invitation, and thank you for also supporting Turning Pages. I am glad. I wish to invite you again if at all you write another book, because I know writers also, or every now and then, they keep on thinking, and I know your head is not empty of ideas. You're looking forward to writing more books, and I pray that also manifests. Thank you again, and I think let us call this a day. Thank you, Mr. Musinguzi.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's an opportunity to have been on this show.
Okay, thank you. Until next time.